Coach, what did you learn about your first year coaching for Purdue?
I mean, how much time you got? You go through when you get hired at the time I got hired. It's mid-December. You're trying to get a class together that signs in a couple weeks. You don't know the roster yet. You don't know how much you need to dip into the portal, how much high school guys you got to get. You're trying to figure out everything that's going on with the program outside the playing field, and then you go through a season and you learn all of those things. You learn what your roster is. You learn how your staff operates and what guys' strengths and weaknesses are. You address the roster needs. You set up programs that are outside of the playing field and all your administrative support the way you want it up and running, and then you look up at this time now and looking back to a year ago, and it's like, man, a lot has changed, and definitely feel more experienced, more comfortable, and more confident heading into the season.
You've built some great defenses before you got to Purdue. Now that you're here, is it about getting the right players for the system or getting these players caught up to what you want to do?
I think it's a combination of both. Definitely what we do is different. So, the learning curve from year one to year two is huge. But this is the Big Ten Conference, and we've got as daunting a schedule as anybody. So you gotta have guys that are able to go compete at that level as well. So I think we've done a good job of progressing in the install and adding the right kind of guys and retaining the guys that we need to go compete and try to win a championship.
How fun is it for you, a college safety, to coach a guy like Dylan Thieneman that just had an incredible freshman season, is making plays everywhere?
Yeah, it's fun to see because you don't see it very often. I know I'm young, but I've been in this profession a long time, and I've never seen a freshman come in with the maturity level that he had, with the work ethic that he has, and then to be able to win the job coming out of spring ball, and then backed it up by being the best guy we had back there this fall. It's no secret why he is as successful as he is. He really works at it. He's passionate about it, and he's an All-American in every area of his life. So football is just a microcosm of how he operates, what type of habits that he brings every day, and who he is as an individual.
Who are some new players for this defense that'll play alongside him that you expect to make an impact this season?
Yeah, guys that weren't here a year ago. Nyland Green is as advertised and had a great spring. He's had a great summer. Looking forward to cutting him loose this fall. Kendrick Breedlove, another defensive back that we added. That's one of the faster guys on the team and as tough as nails, and so I'm excited to see those guys sort of hold down the outside while Dylan is roaming high in the middle.
Your quarterback, Hudson, he has something that not a ton of quarterbacks in this conference have, and that's experience. How have you seen him kind of build on that experience from last year going into this season?
Yeah, it's been huge. Even though he's an older guy, last season was his first time as a full-time starter at the collegiate level. It was also the first year in a brand new system. So you look at just the trends in football, period. Year one to year two, you see big gains, and you definitely saw that this spring. Not only with his understanding of what we're trying to do schematically, his comfort level there, but also his comfort level as a leader, and being the unquestioned number one guy in the locker room, and being able to hold guys accountable and sort of rally the troops, so to speak. He's embraced that role, and I'm definitely looking forward to watching him play this fall.
4 new teams in this conference. What kind of new challenges does that bring?
Yeah, it's you add teams like Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA. Like, those are blue blood, storied programs, and I think it's good for the conference anytime you can add those type of guys to the league. And they're different styles of play. Great coaches are at all 4 of those programs. The travel will be different, and getting used to the different time zones. So it'll be different in that sense. Got new faces, new staffs. And new geographic locations, and I think it's good for the game. It's good for our conference.
What about the travel? You brought up the geographic locations. Is that kind of a new variable, or is that just something that's out of your control?
It is a new variable. We're at Purdue. We're East Coast time. We don't play Oregon at Oregon this year, but we do play Oregon State. And so we do get a glimpse of what it would be like to travel to the West Coast. And so, that's a 3-hour time difference. And depending on what time of day you play on a Saturday, that could be a drastic change. And so, normally you tend to get travel on a Friday and stay Friday night and play Saturday. And, when we play Oregon State, we're going to travel on Thursday to try to get adjusted to the time change.
This is your program now. What is your favorite thing about being the head coach at Purdue?
And I get to wake up and do what I love to do every day. And I don't know if a lot of people can say that. I'm blessed to have an administration that supports the program through and through. Blessed to be a part of a staff that is enjoyable to be around and are comfortable having uncomfortable conversations because of the chemistry that we have. And blessed to coach 120 guys in the locker room that love ball and are willing to do what it takes to have success. And so I'm definitely blessed to be in the position I'm in.
And as a guy that jumped into coaching so quickly after playing at the college level, was this always the dream?
Absolutely. From my first staff meeting, I was fortunate to be one of those guys who know what they want to be when they grow up at a young age, right? And first staff meeting, seeing Dan Hawkins at the head of the table, I was like, I want to sit in that chair one day, and look up, and here you are.
Last year, a lot of close games. It feels like the record could have gone totally the other way. How do you take those close matchups and kind of spin it into a positive going into this season?
Yeah, I think anytime you're a competitor, you hate the losses, but you also take them in stride in order to learn from them. And as you mentioned, there were 4 games this season that were like one-score losses, and could have went either way. So it's just learning and teaching tools, for our program, for me, for the roster, for the staff, on how do we get those games to flip in our favor going into year 2. And I think a lot of that is the guys getting to know each other and having team chemistry and camaraderie, so that you are disciplined in adverse moments. So I think adding the 27 of the 37 guys that we've got new on our roster in January was pivotal, and this is about as tight knit a group that I've been around so far in my profession.